and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's get you the day's top stories first. 10 agreements signed with Myanmar after summit meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and visiting President U Win Mint. First bus service from Imphal in Manipur to Mandalay in Myanmar to start from the 7th of April. Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar also meets the President of Myanmar. After Prime Minister Narendra Modi's appeal for peace on Wednesday, situation returns to normal in northeast Delhi. 2 SIT teams formed under the crime branch to investigate violence. Foreign Ministry refutes statement by Organization of Islamic Cooperation, calls it irresponsible. Government committed to early settlement of tax disputes. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman allays concerns of industry representatives and economists in Guwahati. Says government is committed to development in the northeast region. Special emphasis being given to promote traditional industries. All 112 people brought from Wuhan quarantined at ITBP facility in Chawla, Delhi after thermal screening. Health Minister Harshvardhan says government ready to rescue more Indians. Schools shut in Sindh and Balochistan in Pakistan after 2 confirmed cases of infections. In Iran, coronavirus death toll reaches 26. And India enters semi-finals of ICC T20 Women's World Cup. Team scores thrilling victory in the last over, beating New Zealand by 3 runs. India and Myanmar on Thursday exchanged 10 agreements in various fields, including infrastructure, energy, communication, and health. The agreements were exchanged following talks between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Myanmar President U Win Mint in New Delhi. The agreements also included an MOU on cooperation for prevention of trafficking in persons, rescue, recovery, repatriation, and reintegration of victims of trafficking.
I can tell you that if you look at the number of MOUs signed, there are at least 4 to 5 MOUs which are actually relating to socio-economic development in that part of Myanmar, the socio-economic development of the Rakhine state.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar also called on the visiting dignitary. Both leaders also discussed a wide range of bilateral issues. Earlier in the day, the President of Myanmar was accorded ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He and First Lady Daw Cho Cho were welcomed by President Ramnath Kovind and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The President of Myanmar also visited Rajghat and paid tribute to Father of the Nation Mahatma Gandhi. President Mint is also slated to visit Bodh Gaya on his visit to India. He arrived in New Delhi on Wednesday on a 4-day visit to India. Also, the first bus service from Imphal in Manipur to Mandalay in Myanmar will begin from the 7th of April. And on to the law and order situation in Delhi. The Delhi police has transferred Northeast Delhi riots probe to the crime branch. The cases will be probed by 2 special investigation teams. These teams will be headed by Deputy Commissioners of Police Joy Turkey and Rajesh Deo. The teams will also have 4 Assistant Commissioner of Police rank officers each, and the probe will be supervised by Additional Commissioner of Police B.K. Singh. So far, the Delhi police has filed 48 FIRs.
मैं एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन का पार्ट होने के नाते मैं यहाँ पे आया, लोगों से बातचीत किया है और उनको अश्योर किया है कि उनके अगर दिमाग में अगर कोई अप्रीहेंशन वगैरह है तो उसको दूर करें। और उनके तरफ से भी मुझे काफ़ी पॉजिटिव रिस्पांस आया है। वे भी इस बात को हमारे को एक अश्योरेंस दिया है कि वो अमन कमेटी के थ्रू साथ में काम करेंगे। मैंने उनकी बातें सुनी, कुछ सजेशंस हैं जो पुलिस को जो आइंदा के लिए स्थिति सामान्य हमेशा बनाए रखे, उसके लिए जो सजेशन दिए हैं उस पर हम काम करेंगे।
After days of unrest, normalcy is slowly returning to the violence-hit areas of northeast Delhi. Security officials have been visiting the affected areas, assuring people of safety. A total of 113 companies of Central Armed Police Force and Delhi Police are currently deployed in the strife-torn areas of the national capital to maintain law and order, particularly in areas of northeast Delhi that include most affected localities of Bhajanpura, Chandbagh, Maujpur, Kardampuri, Jafrabad, Ashoknagar and also Shiv Vihar. Meanwhile, the Delhi High Court on Thursday adjourned to the 13th of April the hearing on a petition seeking FIRs against leaders of political parties for their alleged hate speeches. The central government and the Delhi police have been given 4 weeks' time to file their affidavit on the issue. A bench of Chief Justice D.N. Patel and Justice C. Hari Shankar also allowed the central government to become a party to the matter following submissions by Solicitor General Tushar Mehta. During the hearing, the Solicitor General said the time was not conducive to file FIRs related to the alleged hate speeches, as the priority right now is to ensure peace in Delhi. And Union Minister Prakash Javadekar on Thursday lauded the Delhi police and other security personnel for restoring normalcy in Delhi, which saw unprecedented violence earlier this week. He asserted that the situation in violence-hit northeast Delhi is now under control. Arrests have been made and inquiries have been fast-tracked to identify culprits behind the violence.
पिछले 2 दिनों से शांति कायम हुई है, जांच तेजी से चल रही है, गिरफ्तारियां हो रही है और हमें विश्वास है कि दोषी और इस साजिश बेनकाब होगी और सही दोषी जो है वो भी चिन्हित होंगे। ऐसे समय सबका काम है कि शांति मजबूत करें।
And Congress interim President Sonia Gandhi led a delegation of party workers to meet President Ram Nath Kovind earlier on Thursday. The Congress leader submitted a memorandum to the president seeking his intervention on the deadly violence that gripped Delhi earlier this week. The delegation included former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha Ghulam Nabi Azad, Ahmed Patel, P. Chidambaram, K.C. Venugopal, Mallikarjun Kharge, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, Anand Sharma, A.K. Antony, Kumari Shailaja and also Randeep Surjewala. The Central Board of Secondary Education has postponed Class 10 and Class 12 examinations scheduled for the 28th and 29th of February in violence-hit Northeast Delhi. In a statement, CBSE said examinations in the remaining parts of the national capital will be conducted as per schedule. The board also said the next date of exam for the affected students will be notified soon. The board announced that it will conduct fresh exams for students who have not been able to appear for their exams in other parts of the national capital due to violence in Northeast Delhi. It has also sought details of students who failed to appear for their exams due to the prevailing law and order situation in the city. Meanwhile, India has criticized Organization of Islamic Cooperation for its statement on Delhi violence, saying the comments are factually inaccurate and also misleading. External Affairs Ministry spokesperson Ravish Kumar urged bodies like the OIC not to make irresponsible statements at this sensitive time.
refer to some of the statements which have come out, by agencies, by individuals, and we would urge that this sensitive time, it is not the right time to make such irresponsible comments because it can actually create more problems than it would solve.
Slipping into a short break here. More news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
What are some key legislations introduced in Rajya Sabha? Some of the key legislations introduced in Rajya Sabha are the Indecent Representation of Women Bill 1986, the Indian Succession Bill 1991, and the Marriage Laws Bill 1999.
The prolific British poet and story writer Joseph Rudyard Kipling, one of the first masters of short stories in English. In 1894 appeared his Jungle Book, which became a children's classic all over the world. Kim, the story of Kimball O'Hara and his adventures in the Himalayas, is perhaps his most felicitous work published. Set in and concerned with India he had come to know and love so well. In 1907, Kipling became the first English language writer to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature.
हर वो आर्थिक फैसला या नीति जो तय करता है विकास की गति, कैसे और क्यों लिए जाते हैं फैसले, क्या होता है इनका हम पर असर। देखिए अर्थनीति शनिवार शाम 7:30 बजे सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
वक्त बदल रहा है, लोग बदल रहे हैं।
गैस चूल्हा मिला है, धुआं उगाने लगता है, जंगल झाड़ने जाते हैं।
बदलाव की बयार अब गांव तक पहुंचने लगी है। खेती किसानी बदल रही है, शिक्षा का स्तर भी बदल रहा है।
ट्रेनिंग दिया गया है किस तरह से पौधा लगाना चाहिए और बीज लगाना चाहिए, उसके बारे में।
गांव की गलियां, सड़कें अब सब पक्के हो रहे हैं।
महिलाओं गाँव हम लोग का बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है।
महिलाओं गांव छोड़ के जाने का मन नहीं करता है, बहुत ही अच्छा है।
मेरा गांव बहुत अच्छा लगता है, तो मुझे गर्व होता है कि मैं इस गांव की बहू हूँ।
मेरा गांव महिलाओं, मुझ पे इसको गर्व है।
मेरा गांव महिलाओं, देखिए रविवार शाम 6:30 बजे सिर्फ राज्यसभा टीवी पर।
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman met with trade and industry representatives, economists and also policy experts in Guwahati on Thursday. During the interactive session with them, the Finance Minister said the government is committed to steadily move towards less regressive regime and to help close all disputes pertaining to taxation. She added that local self-help groups will be given greater access to credit to supplement the economy. She also said that traditional industries in the Northeast should have facilities to exhibit themselves. The interactions are primarily oriented towards various themes and provisions in the Union Budget 2020-21, presented in Parliament on the 1st of February this year. These interactions are part of a series of interactions which were held by her across the country after her budget speech in Parliament.
What are the challenges faced in Assam because of either the banks not being present adequately or because of certain programs which are not happening, with a particular attention to the tea gardens, elaborately talking about the difficulties that in some parts of Assam, because of scant presence of banks, the kind of difficulties that are being faced.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that India will be a major exporter of defence equipment in the days to come. Addressing the HAL employees in Bengaluru on Thursday, the Defence Minister said that the defence exports that presently stand at 17,000 crore rupees will be enhanced to 35,000 crore rupees by the year 2024 through various government interventions. Calling HAL the backbone of aviation sector in India, Rajnath Singh asked the aeronautical manufacturing company to play a key role to take up Make in India program.
इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट में डिफेंस इंडस्ट्री का भी एक बहुत बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन रहा है और पिछले 5 वर्षों में भारत ने मेक इन इंडिया इनिशिएटिव के अंतर्गत मिलिट्री इक्विपमेंट की मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इंडिजनाइजेशन की दिशा में एक उल्लेखनीय प्रोग्रेस है। भारत का डिफेंस एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ रहा है। पिछले 2 वर्षों में हमारा यह एक्सपोर्ट 17,000 करोड़ रहा है, पर आप लोगों की कैपेसिटी को देखते हुए आगामी वर्षों में इसका लक्ष्य 2024 आते आते 35,000 करोड़ तक पहुंचेगा। इस संबंध में मैं पूरी तरह से कॉन्फिडेंट हूं और हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स लिमिटेड इस लक्ष्य को पूरा करने में बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करेगा, यह मेरा पक्का विश्वास है।
India on Thursday brought back 112 people from the coronavirus hit Chinese city of Wuhan and another group of 124 Indians from Tokyo who were on board a cruise ship infected by the deadly virus. A C-17 Globemaster transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force evacuated 76 Indians and 36 foreign nationals from Wuhan, while an Air India flight brought back the group of 124 Indian nationals from Tokyo. The foreign nationals evacuated from Wuhan include 23 from Bangladesh, 6 from China, 2 each from Myanmar and Maldives, and 1 each from South Africa, USA, and Madagascar. Besides 119 Indians, the people evacuated from Japan included 2 from Sri Lanka, 1 each from Nepal, South Africa, and Peru. The group was among 3,711 people who were on board the coronavirus-infected Diamond Princess ship when it docked at the Yokohama port near Tokyo on the 3rd of February. Health Minister Dr. Harshvardhan has advised all Indians to avoid unnecessary travel to countries like Singapore, South Korea, Iran, and also Italy in view of the COVID-19 outbreak in these countries.
इंडियन एयरफोर्स की सहायता से हम वुहान से, जहां से हम पहले भी 645 भारतीय पैसेंजर्स और 7 मालदीवियन पैसेंजर्स को लेकर आए थे, आज हम और 112 पैसेंजर्स को वापस लेकर आए हैं। ये 76 इसमें भारतीय हैं और 36 नेशनल्स हैं जो बांग्लादेश, म्यांमार, मालदीव्स, चाइना, साउथ अफ्रीका, यूएसए और मडागास्कर के हैं।
2 points I would like to highlight. The first is our willingness to accommodate nationals from other countries in the evacuation process in the spirit of neighborhood first and our own friendly relations with countries. And the second was our demonstration that if the Indian diaspora, internationals are in trouble abroad, MEA will do its best to get them back home.
Meanwhile, the virulence of the novel coronavirus continues to show a declining trend in China, which reported 29 new fatalities, the lowest in weeks, taking the death toll to 2,744, while the confirmed cases climbed to 78,497. The World Health Organization says that the new coronavirus epidemic is at a decisive point globally. The global health body has also urged affected countries to move swiftly in order to contain the disease. In Iran, the number of confirmed cases of the virus increased drastically by over 100 to 254, with 26 new deaths. Iran has been the epicenter of the outbreak in the Middle East, and many cases in the region have traced back to the Islamic Republic. Neighboring Pakistan has shut down schools in Balochistan and Sindh provinces as a precautionary measure after 2 confirmed cases of coronavirus surfaced on Wednesday. The Income Tax Department on Thursday raided at least 25 premises linked to Chhattisgarh government officials and others on charges of tax evasion. Those covered under the action include family members of a senior IAS officer in the state. Officials said the IT teams are assisted by the CRPF, a central paramilitary force, to conduct the raids in Raipur and also a few other locations. Niti Aayog's Atal Innovation Mission, in collaboration with the National Association of Software and Services Companies, announced on Thursday the launch of an artificial intelligence-based module for students in Indian schools. The AI-based module will be implemented across 5,000 Atal Tinkering Labs, empowering 2.5 million students across the country. Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant said that India can add 1.3% to its GDP on an annual basis through the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Speaking on the collaboration, Devjani Ghosh, president of NASSCOM, said that this will create the right foundation for students and also prepare them for the digital and AI era.
AI is very important because AI by 2035 will contribute to gross output of about 15.7 trillion, more than the GDP of USA and America. And another study shows that India can add 1.3% to its GDP on an annual basis through the use of machine learning and artificial intelligence.
AI has a potential of adding around 15 to 15.5 trillion to the world's GDP by 2030. And India roughly is supposed to get around 1 trillion additional boost if we implement AI.
The Maharashtra Legislative Assembly on Thursday unanimously passed a bill which makes Marathi a compulsory subject across all schools in the state. The development coincided with Marathi Language Day, which is celebrated on the 27th of February. The State Legislative Council, remember, had passed the legislation titled Maharashtra Compulsory Teaching and Learning of Marathi Language in Schools Bill 2020 on Wednesday. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari on Thursday said that fundamentalist terrorism is the biggest problem worldwide. Addressing the closing ceremony of the 2-day Savarkar Sahitya Sammelan in New Delhi, Nitin Gadkari also said progressive democratic nations are uniting to fight against terrorism. He appealed to people to take inspiration from the life of Veer Savarkar and work towards eliminating social evils like casteism and untouchability from society.
तो नई टेक्नोलॉजी का उपयोग करके सावरकर जी के विचारों को आज की भाषा में नई जनरेशन को प्रभावी रूप से पहुंचाने का काम ये हम सबको करना है। जो सच है वो सच के रूप में अब सब समाज के सामने पहुंचाने की जिम्मेदारी सावरकर जी के सही विचार नए पीढ़ी तक प्रभावी रूप से पहुंचाने की जिम्मेदारी हम सब की है।
And let's now get you some news about environment and climate change. European countries need to invest to prepare their transport infrastructure for the impacts of climate change. A recent study by UN Regional Commission has examined how extreme weather can wash out bridges and how rising temperatures can cause railway tracks to buckle. The UN report also warns that heavy flooding caused by Rhine River in Germany will affect roads, waterways, as well as rail routes. The study also found that 60% of European seaports are at high inundation risk by the year 2100. The study further suggests revision of technical requirements for infrastructure construction. Some sports news now. In cricket, India notched up a narrow 4-run win over New Zealand in Group A match of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup in Melbourne on Thursday. Invited to bat, India posted a below-par 133 for 8 against New Zealand in the crucial Group A match, with Shefali top scoring with a 34-ball 46 and Tanya Bhatia chipping in with a 25-ball 23. With this win, India topped Group A, having beaten Australia and Bangladesh in their last 2 outings. India scored 133 for 8 in 20 overs, while New Zealand were 129 for 6 in their 20 overs. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you for your time. Good night.